What's up, guys? This is DizzyPW with MMOHuts. I am over at Killer Combo's office, the publisher of the North American version of Elsword, giving a closer look on two things. You might have seen the news this week that Elsword's big bad older sister, Elesis, is back in the game. She's the main character from Grand Chase, and now that rumor mills are in and Grand Chase is merging with Killer Combo, they've got the rights to add her into Elsword with this latest update. But there's been a lot going on in the game, and so I'm here to check out everything and share it with you. For one, they've got a new character creation that gives you a little bit of a preview of everything that the different characters bring to the table. It's got stats, it's got breakdowns of what their specialties are, where they're weak. They've got a little preview of what their outfits look like in their different class sections, and even this nice little video so you can get a preview of what their skills look like in actual combat. I'm a huge fan of it. If you don't want to do the research before hopping into the game and you don't want to spend 40 hours finding out that you went down the wrong path, it's a great way to go. And enough of that though, let's get into some actual gameplay. Right now I'm teaming up with my buddy GM Crow, the self-proclaimed PvP master at the North American Studios, to test out the power of Yoon in its full glory. So the newest class, Yama, is the class where you follow the path of darkness and give into the dark side as Arahan. And in this form, you have your full demonic power. You can see she's got this sexy little outfit going on to emphasize it. Kind of reminds me of the Queen in Frozen, if you saw that movie, just a little bit darker. And if you're into the magic, but you still like the mid-ranged attack damage, kind of being a mix of magic and melee, this class might be the way to go for you. I really dig the fact that she's just so fast and can do hit and run tactics. You don't have to be amazing at combos if you just know when to spam out your attacks. She's got this really limiting resource system where she actually has to collect souls from her targets, which can make you have to do a pretty different build between PvE and PvE on her, as it's really hard to catch players in PvP to actually build up the soul meter. And you can't just spam these sweet potions that GM Crow spammed me up with. But she's also got that really cool Fury Burst in here where she turns into a nine-tailed fox. That's the same across all Arahans, so that's nothing new. But if you want to see some crazy damage output, go with the high-end Soul Burst. Get some of these potions if you can, and you can just tear bosses down like you would not believe and farm some gear pretty fast in this game. And I mean, what's not to like about a nine-tailed fox girl being the hell out of a giant like rock golem dude like this? I also like the fact that it's not really just pure fire magic or anything. She almost seems to have a gravitational, like black hole style to her build, which just adds to the whole theme of the class. And you can look pretty damn sexy while you're spamming out this gravitational wells. Well, I don't want to share too much about her. She's been in the game for a couple weeks now, and Elesis is the new hot thing. So we're going to jump in a little bit of that. Let's start off with some PvP. I know GM Crow's been pining to get some revenge on me. I've shown him up the last couple of times I've visited their studios, and I'm not too great at melee characters, so he's going to have a distinct advantage over me here. He's a bit of a combo master, and this girl, Elesis, who, like I mentioned before, is Elsword's older sister, brings a surprising amount of power to the game. She's not the fastest moving. She feels a little bit clumsy in the air right now, but she's got dashes that kind of sets her apart from Raven, who's the normal one I would associate as a powerhouse. So you think she's slow until she goes on the offensive, and once those first couple of hits land on you, it can be pretty hard to break yourself free for quite a while. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to test out any of the more advanced classes with her. I haven't gotten to see just how complicated and wild her combos get. But you can do quite a bit with the basic stuff here. There's a couple of good air combos she can do if you're really in close range with her. If you can time things right, she's got some good combo hits like that. She's got this really sweet skill you just saw where it's basically a spammable dash through, and if you hit it multiple times, you can do it multiple times before it goes on cooldown. It's especially fun because you can change your direction between dashes, so you can almost go Roni Kenshin style someone, slide through them, slide back through them, and hit them a third time before they drop. It's even good for keeping air combos going. And I think GM Crow is starting to get the hang of this a little bit faster than I am, which kind of pays off for me because it seems like she has a system where she gets mana, a good amount of it in fact, from taking damage. And she has some pretty man-intensive skills that can really wipe out a group of people, even if you miss by a bit. So that's a fun part of her. But what really sets her apart from other characters in the game, and especially if you're trying to master her in PvP, is her Chivalry System. Now, as with other characters, if you see a resource bar underneath your mana bar, it's something you probably want to look into and find out how to use. And hers in particular is... Man, GM Crow is just all over me today. I cannot hang with him on this character. But anyway, the Chivalry System is essentially a system that rewards you for either spamming Z-type combos or X-type combos, or using specific skills that use up either Gale to build Annihilation, or build up Annihilation by using Gale points. And this, if you can get it all the way full, will give you special bonuses on your character, such as bonus crits in the Annihilation, bonus combo damage in the Annihilation, even the ability to do a powerful like mana combo break that can get you out some pretty nasty combos, which is just absolutely what you need in PvP. And her tier 1 class is made almost to automatically build up your Annihilation meter. I found myself unleashing it just about every time on accident. I really had to focus and do a lot of X attacks in a row to having a chance of building up my Gale, because she only has 2 or 3 base skills that even build towards it. But if you're more of a finesse player and you like the speed and combos and just stay on top of it, Gale's the way to go. It gives you a bonus to your mana build-up so that you can use your skills more often. It makes it so that you have a reduced knockdown chance, which means that you can get those 30, 35, 40 hit combos on people before they can break free. And it's just, it's something that's way too skillful for me to have a chance of using. I think the GM Crow is actually going easy on me today by not doing it to me as well. Or maybe he just likes to see the big numbers he's getting out of Annihilation. But one factor of the Gale stance that I think advanced players are really going to dig is that you can build up your Fury meter a lot faster, so you can go into this crazy overcharge mode and really dish out some punishment on anything that's crazy enough to get in range of her. That's about all I have to say about her in PvP. Let me finish off GM Crow here real quick and then quit while I'm at least on par with him, and we'll jump into some of the new PvE content. The Sander continent, I believe you guys saw not too long ago, we did some coverage on, and now they've released the full content of it, and here's a little preview of some of the advanced stuff. As you might have seen, Sander's main protagonist is actually a succubus, and it turns out she's not alone. She's very much not alone. There's an army of demons that are taking over this desert trying to get a hold of, well, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't played through the storyline. There's actually a pretty decent manga storyline going on here. But what you do need to know is that there's a bunch of sexy, annoying succubi that for some reason always look like rogues in these Korean games. Something about that mask girl just really does it for them over there. And you gotta fight through them. GM Crow said that our characters weren't equipped to handle this dungeon. I wanted to prove him wrong. And of course there would be a flying mini-boss that does confusions and knockbacks. Possibly the worst thing to ever come across as Elesis. Especially this first class, she needs you to be on the ground to really unleash her full potential. And so now we're dodging and just trying to keep away from these hearts, and we finally got her down. Once we're not letting her back up. This is game over for this succubus. But let's talk a little bit about where Elesis comes from and how like the Grand Chase universe kind of ties into Elsword. I don't know if this was originally the plan of COG. I think that some of their lead designers just had a thing for red-haired swordsmen. I'm sure it's a pretty foreign and exotic thing if you're living over in Korea. And so they designed 2 very similar games, both with a main character with red hair and a giant sword. And now they've decided to kind of merge them together under the guise that they're both part of this warrior caste known as the Sieghearts, which I guess gigantic swords and badassery just runs in their bloodline, as Elsword's completely outmatched in terms of raw power by his sister. And she took off on her own adventure for some reason, did the whole Grand Chase thing, and now she's back in almost like a parallel storyline that doesn't fully like negate anything I tried to get out of them, whether Grand Chase's storyline or Elsword's storyline or first chronologically, and they just said it's not like that. It's kind of 2 parallel universes. So for the lore fans out there, that's the best official response I can get. But what I can say is that these Sanders demons are a massive pain in the ass to deal with. I feel like early on in the game, you don't have to dodge that much. You can kind of just spam your way through Elsword, and they add quite a bit of skill and timing and dodging to these later levels. Having attacks like Elesis that lets you cut through people and dodge on the other side is a huge deal, because once you get comboed, that's it. These guys, yeah, they just wiped me out. I'm glad we got a couple extra continues with us. I feel like I'm back in the arcades playing one of those games that just eats up your quarters right now. And this horrible little red balloon in the middle just spawns more of these guys that are like overpowered mini bosses to us right now. You don't really get invincibility when you're fighting these guys. If one of them hits you and they all swing after him, that's it. And I'm gonna try and do my fury here and get a little bit of revenge on these things just to get through to us and get you to see a little preview of the actual... Okay, my fury means nothing to these guys. These guys are the Furies. But yeah, right there in the very background, you can see the actual succubus that's causing all of the great danger and trouble that's taking over the Sander Desert. And let's skip ahead here and actually get a look at her. For one, I don't know why this is, but in Elsword, I always feel like I'm playing some chibi character, and everyone's just way bigger, way stronger, way scarier than me. And I thought maybe in the case of the succubus that wouldn't be the case, but no, even the succubus feels like she's 12 feet tall compared to us. And so, and of course, this red balloon thing seems to be the signature of all these demons here. And so pounding at this seems to be taking her health away. And I don't know what those do, but I'm not going to get... And I don't know what that does either, but for once, the fact that we're actually good at fighting on the ground is paying off, because there's a whole bunch of chains that look very murderous above us. And she's got about 33 of these bars. I'm starting to see what GM Crow meant by we're a little bit too weak to be handling this. But I'm going to try and hang in there, survive as long as I can, and give you guys a preview of this new content. And this doesn't really seem that bad so far. I don't know why GM Crow keeps getting hit. I don't think he's paying attention. I guess that's why he claims himself to be the PvP master, not the PvE master. But yeah, this, I don't know, I found like that flying succubus to be a bit more annoying than that. Granted, I haven't been hit by the giant scythe of doom, so that could very well change in an instant. Especially with the fact that she's got, what is that, 38 more bars of health left? Oh, no problem. So back to her system of the Gale versus the Annihilation. It's an interesting system because she has some decent combos that require you to use both Z and X together. And okay, there goes GM. What? Yeah. And that's why you don't get hit by the scythe. But sorry, that was one of the most brutal things I've ever seen happen in this game. Props to COG on outdoing themselves with this boss. So back to the Annihilation versus Gale system, it really forces you to actively think about the combos you're doing and try not to give in to your instincts to mix them up so that you can get the full effect of either your Gale strategy or your Annihilation strategy, or perhaps even do a mix of the two. It really depends, because there are certain skills that require you to spend Gale points or spend Annihilation points to unleash the more powerful skills on the opposite spectrum. And, well, I think I've jinxed myself. They're officially summoning minions now. Let's see how long we can go. I think we can win this. There's only 30 bars of health left. And, yeah, it'll be really exciting once that they release some of her other classes later on, and you get a bit more choice with which skills you can use on how this is going to play out in PvP. And, okay, I'm not done yet. No, you can't finish me this. I will survive. Got my super potion on cooldown. I just got us hang loose. Yeah, there we go. All right, I'm back in this. I think we've hit the threshold of just how well we can do against this boss. Now that she's in the 2Xs, I don't think she's messing around anymore. And no! Okay, she finally got me. I think we're gonna call it quits here. If she's this much harder at 2X, I'm sure we're gonna stand no chance against her at the 1X. And there goes GM Crow as well. If he can't hang with it, I think we're out of luck. I'm going to call it wraps here, but it's absolutely fascinating to see such a PvP-intensive game like Elsword adding new characters all the time. It's forcing players like me to constantly have to change up our tactics, learn a little bit more about what each of them does. And just like a MOBA, it's always changing the meta of what you can do, especially in the multiplayer battles that they have going on. One last thing I want to mention while on the subject of succubi is you can get married in-game now, but for those that were curious, no, Elesis and Elsword cannot marry. So it looks like the Aisha X Elsword crowd has won out on this round. Anyway, that's about all I've got to show you for new things inside of Elsword. I'm going to duck out. Have a good one, guys. This is DizzyPW signing out.